So Rocket League have just dropped a new trailer for Season 8, and it is most exciting I've ever been about a season before because this is just brilliant. Now the video will just be a little bit of a breakdown of the trailer. We'll go into all the details and things you might have missed. Now the trailer starts off with the Octane driving to a sort of car meetup where it meets up with a Jaeger and a Fennec, and we get the first sight of the Honda Civic Type R, which is the new Rocket Pass car, and I cannot believe they've gone and done it because this is one of my all-time favorite cars. It's the original EK9 model Type R, which was the first to get the Type R badge, and just an iconic car from my childhood where I always wanted one when I was getting older. I never actually did get one, but I did end up getting a Honda Integra Type R, which is pretty much just as cool. Other than that, the Fennec and the Jaeger in this shot seem to be using existing items. There's nothing really to shout out about it. I do think that the wheels on the Fennec could potentially be new, but I don't think they are. And it shows us that this is the street racing theme that I predicted on Twitter about a week ago, so that is me nailing on 2 predictions because I got the Battle Bus incoming prediction right as well. Now the prediction was more of a wishful thinking thing from me, but I'm so happy that it's actually here. So we then see the Civic just sort of pirouette around the Octane, and then it stops in front of a Season 8 graffiti sign which appears to have some names written down the side of it, and we'll get a better view of this image later on. And then we get one of the coolest parts of this trailer. The Honda Civic switches on its Underglow. Now, Underglow is something that the community has been crying out for a very long time, and there was a video made a while back, I think it was by Lethamir, and I think he suggested that it wasn't going to be possible on the current engine that Rocket League runs on. So either they've found a fix for that, or Unreal Engine 5 is coming with Season 8. Now, I would have expected an announcement if Unreal Engine was coming already. So I would think that they've just sort of found a little workaround to get something similar to an Underglow that's not quite an Underglow, but it certainly looks cool enough anyway. And the Civic then jumps off into the brand new arena called Sovereign Heights, where we see a better shot of the graffiti on the wall there. And now if we went over to the blog post quickly, then we can see a much higher quality version of that graffiti where it appears to be some sort of Easter egg, because they've got 2 sides of an Easter egg coming apart, revealing this sovereign crew, and it's got a load of names down the side. Now we don't know what those names mean yet, but my assumption, I guess, is that they're probably the names of like the graphics designers, 3D artists, etc., who all worked on this Rocket Pass. However, they could be a little indication of something that's to come in the future, but I don't know. The camera then pans out to give us a nice wide-angled view of the arena, and it looks really, really cool. The arena is called Sovereign Heights, and it is a grassy arena, which is something, again, that we've been really, really wanting for a very long time. Lots of people in the community have been just crying out for a new grassy arena because they didn't like the sort of likes of the Neon Heights one, is it? And the whatever else there was that was all that sort of high contrast, weird flooring and stuff. Now I'm not so sure about the curved sidewalls on it because the orange and blue kind of look a bit in your face, and I'm wondering if that's going to cause an issue with cars like blending in and nameplates blending into the background, which I can see being a bit of a concern. But we'll have to wait and see when we actually get into the arena and we can actually play on it. We then see another shot of a Civic, but this version of the Civic is the sort of base model from the Rocket Pass. So this is the one without the spoiler and without the carbon fiber hood. And interestingly enough, it does have the Underglow on it, which is something that I was quite surprised by because according to the blog post, the glowing visual effect from the Underglow is something that is automatically applied when you're using a painted version of the car. And that kind of implies that both versions of the Type R come painted. So we can have like the base model painted as well as the sort of premium far end version painted, where in previous Rocket Passes, it was only the sort of high end model at the end that you would get painted. So that's quite interesting, I thought. The Civic then sort of does a spin around and turns into this later model, which is known as the Civic Type R LE, which like has the aforementioned spoiler and the hood, and we see a couple of different decals on it as well as a wheel change, so we can see a couple of new items there. And we then get met with the Takumi and an Octane, and they are also showing off other decals, presumably from the Rocket Pass, but they could be from tournament items as well. But I must say that Octane decal as well as those wheels, the sort of way that they work together is absolutely stunning. I am really, really, really happy with that Octane decal because I think it's beautiful. The Takumi decal and the wheels on the Takumi are also definitely new, but I'm not so sure about the boombox on top. I feel like that was something that existed previously, but I could be wrong on that. The ball behind the car kind of pops up then, and then it turns itself into a basketball, which then shows off a brand new hoops court or hoops arena, which is something that the hoops community will be absolutely delighted about, because that's something again that they've been like crying out for a very, very long time. And I know a few hoops mains who have been really, really keen on getting a new arena. So that's really interesting that they're doing another one, and it looks really, really nice as well. It's got following that sort of urban theme here, and yeah, it's just really, really cool. We then get a sight of a Fennec, which is using some very fancy looking wheels, which seem to have the sovereign crown in the middle of them. And I think these wheels, presumably they can be painted, but if they can be painted, then you could probably make some really nice designs with these wheels, combining it with the Underglow. The decal on the Fennec also looks like it's an animated decal, which should be quite nice. And then the Octane takes off, boosting through the air, showing off a sort of spray paint style boost. And it sounds really nice, this boost. My biggest bugbear with all the boosts that come out is just the noise of them. I don't like how most of the Rocket Pass boosts sound, but if this Rocket Pass video is anything to go by, then the boost sound actually seems quite decent, and I think I'll actually quite like it. It then scores an absolute belter of a double tap and reveals a lovely graffiti style goal explosion in the background, and we see 4 cars showing off a bunch of new items as well. And that includes a brand new Octane decal, which is very similar looking to the Dot Matrix one, except it's got, again, that sort of sovereign crown in it. It's got like a spray paint topper thing, and also a stop sign as an antenna. And then we've got a new decal for the Dominus as well, which I think is one of the ones that moves with when the car moves, because I'm seeing another image of this decal where it's not in the same orientation as this. So it could just be that it's moving just generally, but based on the angles that the car is in at the moment, I'm thinking that it's one of the ones that moves with the car. Whether that's a universal one or whether it's exclusively for the Dominus, we'll just have to wait and see. Then we get a shot of the Season 8 title with the beautiful Honda Civic sitting below it. Now on the blog post itself, we get a few names of some of the items. And then right at the very bottom of the blog post, there's a little bit of a blurb which says about Season 8 has loads to show. And the new Hoops Arena says it's coming later this season. So I think that means that we're not going to see it at the very start, and it's probably going to be released from perhaps a limited time mode, maybe a 3v3 hoops mode. That would be very interesting. And it also mentions about rumors of a Haunted Hallows event coming later this year. But overall, this is a super, super exciting Rocket Pass and super exciting season. I cannot wait for it. This is probably the season I've been most excited for out of all of them, and I thought Season 7 was really good as well. I was really excited for Season 7, although I didn't actually get to play that much thanks to various holidays, RLCS lands, and COVID happening. it was not a very great month for me on Rocket League. Regardless, I'm really excited about this one, and I will be grinding it hard. So what is your favorite part from the trailer? Is there anything that you think I've missed from the trailer? Let us know in the comments, and hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, drop it a like, give it a subscribe. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, bye.